Badlands, right into Badlands. Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Mr. Vice President, I'm going off script again, I know, but I just want to personally thank you. We've been through some stuff. We've gone through some of the most complex military operations this country's ever conducted, and your steady hand and your leadership during those was a great source of strength for me. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your character. Thank you for your selfless service. Thank you for commitment. Thank you for being a mentor to me, Mr. Vice President.
It's called the swamp. And you know what happened? And you know what I did? A big favor. I caught the swamp. I caught them all. Let's see what happens. Nobody else could have done that but me. I caught all of this corruption that was going on, and nobody else could have done it. Did I get that one right? Every 4 years, we gather on these steps to carry out the orderly and peaceful transfer of power. Today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning, because today we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people. For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government, while the people have borne the cost. Washington flourished, but the people did not share in its wealth. This American carnage stops right here and stops right now. The forgotten men and women of our country will be forgotten no longer. From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first.
This is a president of the United States who is a danger to the republic.
America first.
He knows he's an illegitimate president.
The oath of office I take today is an oath of allegiance to all Americans.
The great Trump recovery.
America will never be a socialist country. I will fight for you with every breath in my body.
Russia, Russian, pro-Russian, Russian, the Russians.
Russia.
And I will never, ever let you down.
A dangerous virus is spreading rapidly in China, and U.S. officials are very worried that it could come here.
This is really the worst attack we've ever had. This is worse than Pearl Harbor. This is worse than the World Trade Center. There's never been an attack like this. The time for empty talk is over. Now arrives the hour of action. What they're doing is using COVID to steal an election. Together, we will make America strong again. You know what it's about? Fraud, fake ballots. We will make America wealthy again. They are trying to steal the election.
Now, under the leadership of President Trump, we are fully realizing President Kennedy's prescient view of Special Operations Forces.
We will make America proud again. And watch, please, those mail-in ballots. We will make America safe again. And in millions and millions of ballots, their vote is under what they thought they needed. They're dumping more ballots in there, okay? And yes, together, we will make America great again. Thank you. God bless you. If we are right about the fraud, Joe Biden can't be president.
Congress, the chair declares the joint session dissolved.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Devolution Power Hour. As always on Wednesdays, I am joined by Bernie Bright. Bernie Bright, how you doing, man?
Pretty good. Yeah, I always think about it every time you ask, just so I don't just find myself responding how you'd expect.
I'm assuming you never expect that question, though.
That's true. I'm always taken aback by it. Every time it's asked, I'm like,
I was going to catch you off guard.
I was expecting to talk about the G2 summit rather than something like that. But
just right off the rip. What are your thoughts?
You know what? I wasn't feeling. I was having kind of a bad day, and then Trump hit us with some pretty funny truths, and I'm feeling good.
Yeah, we'll have to go through a few of those things.
Yeah.
Couple things. Some housekeeping items. I don't even know if I want to get into this yet, but Snowcat operator in the chat. I was looking for you, man. You gifted some subscriptions. So First of all, just want to say thank you so much for that. Second of all, I got asked to MC an event in Kansas, and I was like, was completely humbled and honored. I was like, why would you ask me? I feel like speaking sometimes is not my thing, but I'm doing it.
We all noticed.
Yeah, I know you did. I'm doing it, but I was going to try to find Snowcat operator because he's the one who comes to our events, and when he does, he takes pictures. And I used my regular headshot, but I wanted to get a picture of me on stage. But yeah, I'm emceeing an event with Matt Gaetz, and I think there's gonna be a lot of politicians there. It'll be my first time emceeing an event that people aren't paying to come see me at my event. This is the first time I'm seeing another event, and so I'm probably gonna be my last one too. Based on, it'll be interesting to see if they have me back after after I potentially talk shit. I'm not gonna talk shit Kansas Reckoning, but I might talk shit to some of them.
What does MC mean?
I'm like the guy that's.
I know what it is, but what does it literally mean?
I have no idea what it means, but I'm hosting.
I know, I understand, but I don't understand.
It's I'm running the thing from the stage.
Yeah. Oh, I know, but it's a weird word.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat will know.
I don't know what it means. But yeah, if you guys details on this, I'm still fuzzy on. I'm gonna be there, obviously, because I'm emceeing, but
Master of ceremonies, but people write it out EMCEE. That's why I was confused.
That is weird. Why they do it that way?
That's dumb that people do that. Anyway.
Huh. Yeah, I think once I get more details, I'll get that posted. And so if you guys are in Kansas and want to come to this event, you should. I think we're going to do a Badlanders meetup around this as well. It's coming up pretty quickly here, so pretty excited. But yes, when I saw Snowcat operator gifted that, I was like, hey, man, got any pictures of me? But now it's too late. So
we have a little meetup next week.
We do?
1 week from now. Yeah.
Where at?
The Cocoa. I think we're going to see some inflatable rockets take off and shift horizontally through the sky and explode somewhere over the ocean.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I think there's at least one rocket launch that we'll be there for.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we're finalizing our panels. And I'm going to be totally honest, because of the things going on, I haven't even been in that speaker chat in a while. I have no idea what our panel topics are. But Alpha texted me. He went in there today to vote on it because Ash had me text her, be like, hey, go tell these last few people to go vote. And he texted me back. He's like, man, those panels are fire. I couldn't even decide which ones I want to be on. They're all so good. So
I actually ran into that problem too. I was like, top 3. I controlled myself, but
yeah, when we first started doing these polls, for the panel topics, like, hey guys, please pick your top 3 or 4 in order. And then you'd have 4 or 5 people that would pick 7 of them. And then be like, I don't care what I'm on. It's like, you're literally no help. Just pick 3. Pick 3.
Yeah, we're doing our last exclusive stream tomorrow, though. So if you're a virtual or in-person ticket holder, you will see that stream. Should go out 2:30, I think, or 2 o'clock tomorrow. I think the stream's at 2:30. Link should go out before that, obviously. And that's always good. More casual hangout. Sort of like an OnlyLands in the middle of the day. And then obviously that gets you an invite into the Telegram chat, which is bumping. It's already a lot of people in there. So, and yeah, single day tickets are still available for Florida. I think Ghost was just
Mostly,
saying
yeah.
the weather looks like it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, he said we're going to play some beach volleyball, but I still think we got to do the Top Gun thing and play football instead.
We can't do that unless Dad Bod era isn't happening. Because I'm going to need to like go full Glenn Powell for that. I'm going to get on TRT, HGH, cocaine, everything that I
4
need to
days.
be on. No, not for that. That's why. It'll be next time.
Oh, well, I'm pretty sure you said that last time about this time.
Listen, these things take time, okay? How long did Top Gun Maverick wait until after the original Top Gun to come out, and it was worth it? So let's kind of look at a timeline similar to that. 1986 to 2022, I believe it was.
Okay,
so we have time.
That's how
There's
much time
always
you
hope.
need to get your beach bod ready? Is that what you're saying?
Well, when I was a younger man, I actually could get in shape quickly. That was when I had knee cartilage and wasn't 36.
And had a workout routine.
Right. Did things.
Probably a diet.
Right. Was afraid if I didn't do things, I would get knocked out viciously. So now there's really no incentive besides just not looking like a dad bod. But, you know, we'll get there.
One of these guards are going to show up and you're just going to be...
Yeah.
Nah,
Back
probably
at
not.
him.
Never mind. I'm going to rescind that statement. I'll preemptively rescind that statement that I almost said.
Believe in myself.
One last thing. Okay, so actually a couple things. We're going to get to our sponsor here quick, shortly. There's one more housekeeping item I want to do, and then we're going to talk about Shipwreck's interview real quick, and then we'll get into the newsy stuff. This housekeeping thing, like I don't really know how to do these things because it's like it's still kind of awkward to me. I don't like discussing it, but I do just want to say thank you to those of you who watched our video stream from the other night and have been sending us stuff. We've been getting a lot, and it's actually been extremely helpful. I'm going to read you an example of an email here. Should I even show on the screen, BB? Probably. I have it redacted.
Is it all redacted? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
You
know.
can just read it.
Okay. Well,
Or
how
just
about
say
this?
what it is. Yeah. Just say what it's about.
We got an email from an individual about a group that was happening. I'm just going to put it on the screen. Who cares? I was at the Trump Hotel in Vegas. I believe it was March during GART. Was furious about all the drama. Redacted was furious about all the drama. He was claiming that Badlands was purchasing views. There were at least 20 people there, definitely more. He stated that he was in town because of the event, but refused to go to the actual panels and participate. Seemed like Redacted was there to access John's community and party with them while bashing everything John stands for. Multiple witnesses. The person mentioned here was one of the people that we mentioned in that video. We're getting a lot of emails like this about this purchase of views claim and the other claims. And so I just want to ask again, if you or anybody you know has heard anything along these lines, we're just asking you to kindly shoot us an email with your story, and it gets passed along to the attorneys so we can continue moving the ball forward with the people who've been trying to screw with us a little bit. Anything around the termination of the former Badlands member, any unfounded allegation that Badlands Media engages in the purchase of views, or any claims that Badlands Media is being operated in a corrupt manner. We ask you to email any of those instances from other content creators who are saying those things to legal@badlandsmedia.org. And with that, let's get a quick word from our sponsor, and then we'll jump into Marjorie Taylor Greene telling us not to pay taxes. And Burning Bright said he wants to publicly disagree with her and tell you why you should.
Yeah.
We'll get into that real quick. But first, some CB Distillery. You don't want to miss this. Save up to 40% on everything during the fall sale at CB Distillery. They do these sales every so often, and it's huge freaking savings, and I love it. If you're tired of tossing and turning at night, feeling stressed, or dealing with aches and pains, you need to hear about CBD from CB Distillery. People everywhere are turning to CBD because it works. Over 90% of customers say they sleep better with CBD. That is a pretty big number. And CB Distillery has natural solutions for just about everything: better sleep, mood focus, pain relief after workouts, even CBD for pets. And it's all made with clean, high quality ingredients. So if you've been waiting for the perfect time to try CBD, clear out that acetaminophen from your cabinet, that Tylenol, this is the time. Stock up and save 40% on everything. Head over to cbdistillery.com. Use promo code RUMBLE. That's cbdistillery.com, promo code RUMBLE. Specific product availability depends on individual state regulations. All right. Shall we show the MTG clip?
Let's do it.
This is so badass. So badass. The whole interview is great, guys. If you didn't know, MTG went on the Shipwreck show on Badlands, and I listened to about 30-some minutes of it. I haven't had a chance to finish it, and I didn't get a chance to watch it live, but it is awesome. I've been asking people for a while now. Pretty much every time I get a politician on, I ask them why should we pay taxes, and I've never gotten a great answer. I've gotten some decent ones. I've gotten some really bad ones. Shipwreck didn't even have to ask that question.
Right.
MTG just volunteered it.
She was jonesing
For it. Check it out.
The American people have forgotten their power. So you're talking about the working poor. I'm talking, and I call them the average, I call them the forgotten American man and woman, but that's the same group. That is the largest group of Americans. And I think, in my opinion, that is the most powerful group of Americans. I think that is the group of Americans that have no idea that they are so powerful, they could rein in their government like that. Not only could they rein it in, they could overthrow it. And
How could they do that though? Just out of curiosity, what does that look like?
I look, so you that's about 100 million Americans, right?
Yeah.
100 million Americans putting $10 into something that's $1 billion.
Like a true grassroots.
Yes.
Okay.
And then also, let's just say, forget donations. 100 million Americans. I'll jump way out there. We're going to make all kinds of headlines. Let's say 100 million Americans that say, fuck you to the government and refuse to pay their taxes.
I was going to ask you about.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's on my list.
This is how you do it.
You file exempt.
You want to know why?
Don't file at all,
The federal
Shipwreck.
government has fucked you over. It rapes you every single day.
It goes on, and it's really good. But I love this because she's like, no, 100 million Americans say "fuck you" to your government. MTG is part of that government.
Yep. Got to respect it. I mean, man, there's and hey, people can say it's rhetoric, right? Like, forget.
That's permission right there.
Yeah, well, and I try to steelman like counter arguments against our arguments in my head, and if you wanted to say like, okay, it's posturing, it's rhetoric, she's playing to like the America First crowd, she's playing to like the frogs on that one, she's playing to the most based version of America First, sovereignty, anti-federalism, all that kind of stuff. And whether or not she's she fully believes in that, the fact that we've got a member of our government appearing on a large show saying that out loud and in that language, at the very, very least, it demonstrates how far the Overton window has moved, right? Whether she believes it or not. If she does believe it, then obviously she feels comfortable enough in the current zeitgeist to say that out loud as forcefully as she did. Probably helped that she was on Badlands. She probably felt more comfortable saying that there and talking to Ship. But even if she doesn't believe in that and she's posturing because she's a politician, that's great. So that's the kind of posturing you want.
Right? You're saying like she could be grifting, but
if you're grifting with that kind of rhetoric, it shows that you understand that is where the mood of the American people is at. So it's still a positive indicator, in my view.
No, it's great. I mean, I'm proud of Shipwreck for that interview, not just getting it. I mean, it's well deserved. She's a hard worker. She's constantly putting clips out there, and she's completely uncensored, which is what I love about her too. But I was kind of surprised, like when she said that she's potentially getting MTG on. I was like, well, okay, well, we'll see about that. I mean, and she's the perfect fit. That those two are like such a good match, and it really shone through in the interview, at least what I've seen so far. But yeah, that was so good. And
get MTG a show. Put them on together.
Yeah. Well, by the way, guys, we are from now on either calling G Money MTG Money or calling MTG Money. We haven't decided which one should get the label, but maybe we just call
Money.
Both
just
that.
like he just prostrates himself before the IRS. It's
I've
disgusting.
Never seen somebody
Every
pay
stream he
taxes.
does. Yeah, he just simps and simps and simps. I'm a tax-paying American. It's like the MTG money is the version of G money we always were promised and never got.
Yeah, he's really afraid of like the court system and like how
Yep.
legitimate it is, and
Yep.
yeah, constantly. But anyway, I don't remember where I was going with that. Oh, so MTG, you could, I don't like any politicians. There are some that have their moments. MTG, she has her moments where she appears genuine. I think that for me, what I like about her is she doesn't make waves for me. Like, she doesn't show up in my feed and I see something of her like obviously grifting. There's a couple things, like she's on the Doge committee, which I think was a kind of a grifting committee. It's not nearly as bad as the Anna Paulina Luna, whatever, or Paluna Lina. I don't remember however you say her name. Not as bad as her and her committees, but she's I don't know, like, you can't be grifting that because that can get you in legal trouble. Like, you're an elected official and a public figure telling people not to pay taxes. That's why, remember, the official stance of Badlands Media is pay your taxes, everybody. That's the official public stance of Badlands Media, is everybody's supposed to pay their taxes and respect the IRS and the legal system and your neighbors and thyself and all that stuff.
Chat is broken. Is chat broken?
Why is chat broken?
I don't know. It froze. I went to reload it and I don't see anything there. Unless it's just me.
Are we showing up on stream?
Yeah. Well, I think so.
Ah, it does appear our chat is broken.
Well, stream's working, but...
Well, let me do this.
There's been
If you
lots
guys
of,
go...
internet issues today.
Oh, yeah. Well, speaking of that, I was looking at Twitter and I was going to go change my settings. So every time I'm not on the screen, it doesn't like blur out my face. It's going to put it in dark mode, and this is going on.
Yeah. There were huge like AWS outages today, and I tried to pay like a credit card bill, and that was not working. So there's all kinds of stuff.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. I do believe the chat is still working over on the YouTube. So if you guys go to youtube.com/@Badlands Media, and know what, I'll even put that in the... I guess I was going to say I'll put that in the chat, but that's not going to be any help if nobody can get in the chat. I'll put on a banner on the screen. You guys can chat over there until YouTube is fixed. Oh, whoops, that's the old one. Hold for processing. Okay, there you go. It's scrolling at the bottom now. youtube.com/@Badlands Media. But anyway, my girlfriend says she refreshed and she can see people talking now.
It crashed as soon as we play the MTG clip.
Something fishy's going on here. But yeah, anyway, very excited about that show. I can't wait to finish it. And yeah, I think you all should check it out. It was pretty based.
Yeah,
I wonder if the fact that people can't chat might hurt our Rumble rants for the stream.
It might mean that we can't collect them.
That's what I'm saying.
So we will try to collect them if you guys are sending any in. Oh, it's back for me. All right. All right, we're good, guys.
Oh, there we go. It's back for me too. Okay, I'm gonna have to
forget all that nonsense we said about YouTube.
Well, I mean, you can all go follow us over there. That'd be helpful. Okay, but anyway, that was weird. Rumble's doing some weird stuff, man, like in a good way. I think they're getting close to launching their Bitcoin wallet. There was there's whispers of them giving creators all pre-roll ad money, or at least that's what Chris Pavlovsky said on a post, which would be nuts. I don't even know what we get now, but that would be so helpful. Like, I'm trying to get a second personal jet, and I can't do that. I'm only making you know, $500,000 a month. Like, I need substantially more. So, well,
that's always been the toughest thing for the startup video platform, for one, but certainly content creators, is that I know, again, this is like inside baseball crap, but it's, you guys largely in the audience support us. Anybody you watch, it's largely that you guys support us if, depending on whether or not we have any sponsors. But, on the YouTube model, it's all pre-roll, basically. Most of it's pre-roll, so that just means that you're getting paid based on whatever advertising is going on the platform, based on how popular your show is or how many views you're doing. And that's been something that's taken Rumble a long time to spin up. And I don't blame them. It's very tough to, they've got a lot of overhead costs to running the platform. But if they do make that move, then obviously it's good for content creators on Rumble, but it's also a sign of Rumble's strength and stability, because to be able to do that means that that money doesn't have to be committed to operations. So that would just be a good sign for the whole like space in general.
I'm curious. I mean, because there is minimal, pre-roll video that or money that we get. It's like, on average, let's say on average we get 15 million views a month. Like we get on YouTube, that money would probably be like $150,000, $200,000. Like I would actually be making the money I'm accused of being making. It's like $5,000 to $6,000 a month. That
for the whole network, by the way.
Yeah, the numbers are insane. The difference in that is insane. But also, YouTube has been around a lot longer. It has a lot better viewership, and it's part of the regime. And so
yes,
they get
exactly. That's a big thing.
The biggest
well,
problem.
I remember Rumbles, and I don't know what the updates are on it. And chat's crashed again for me. But I don't know what the. I'm sure other people are more caught up on the details of it. But when I was looking into some of the antitrust and the litigation between Rumble and Google in particular, it was it was based on the ad network. And kind of interestingly, which I think is around about maybe Rumble signaling a move into stronger pre-roll presence has something to do with that legal situation. Because what they've been alleging is that it's not YouTube, it's Google AdSense has been maybe directly or indirectly, in Rumble's opinion, pressuring mass market media buyers not to place their ads on Rumble. So they're essentially operating as an advertising cartel. Google AdSense already powers, as most of you would know, most online advertising that you see, which is to say generative ads that you're just seeing on websites or on YouTube videos that autoplay. The reason you actually don't see much of that or any advertising on Rumble is because the sponsors that run these big media conglomerates are or manufacturers are supposedly discouraged from doing business with them. So that's acting as a cartel, that's acting as a monopoly, which is why Rumble's been going after them. And from what I looked at maybe 6 months ago, I know that Google's efforts to block the continuance of that case was denied. So
yeah, I respect the struggle too, because it's essentially what we've been. I mean, they're obviously at a much larger scale than we are, and much bigger company. But that's like what we were trying to do here, right? Like the small mom and pop shops. Like if you want to support what we're doing, you advertise with us. We don't have access to the big name brand advertisers. Honestly, the biggest advertisers we get happen to come from Rumble.
Right.
And they're the ones that they happen to get because the people respect their mission, and it's not ones that are in line with what YouTube is doing. So I get it. It's not easy to build it out in that fashion. But Rumble's been doing really well along the way. So yeah. Anyway, I don't remember why we got there. Oh yeah, the chat is down. But it's picking up over on YouTube, which is great. But anyway, let's maybe talk about some Trump third term stuff. On Saturday's show, me and Chris, we discussed the Bannon clip, which was a really great clip. I'm sure you've seen it, BB, where Bannon's like, yeah, he's going to get a third term. We'll lay out the plan for that later. The blonde dyke from Europe or whatever was, but that's not constitutional. What about the 22nd Amendment? And Bannon was like, fuck you. It's the people. If the people want it, how can that be unconstitutional? It was great discussion. Paraphrased slightly there. But CNN picked up on it, and they had a little scissor fest here we should take a listen to.
Important to remember that was in reaction to a deviation from democratic norms. And so it is important to remember that checks on executive power have happened over time, not as many as we should have had. And I say that as a presidential historian. But I mean, calling it a third term is something that Washington in his farewell address would have called something different. He called it a despot. But something like despot, dictator, monarch, that's not going to pull well with focus groups. And so I think calling it a third term.
Who gives a shit about focus groups anymore? Like, do people still do those or use those?
I don't know. I mean, I assume they do, but if they did, the people who end up in them I don't know. How do you end up with the Dylan Mulvaney op and all that out of Bud Light if you do focus groups?
Well, it's just like regular polling. Like you can't believe the
Yeah,
poll numbers.
yeah.
It's like exit
They
polling
skew
too.
it.
That's the worst. Like you go to New York and pick a bunch of college libs to come in and ask if they think Trump would be. Would you be okay with Trump having a third term? Blue-haired, fat whale liberal? No, I wouldn't. See, and then yeah, that's so stupid.
Yeah.
So
And even when
last.
you do ask people, this sort of reminds me, I forget the guy's name, but infamously during the 2024 election, accepting it's all fake and gay, there was somebody who made a absolute fuck ton of money on that election by by not obviously not paying attention to mainstream polling, but he actually funded his own poll.
Is it
Pretty
Barris?
large scale. What?
Barris?
Was that it?
I don't
But
know.
it was the one, I forget what he named it, but the poll asked Americans who they thought their neighbor was going to vote for. And the results were completely different than when you just polled all of those people individually. And it was way more accurate. So it's like, everyone knows who everyone else is going to vote for, but nobody is going to say to these pollsters who they are going to vote for.
It's a great
Same
comment.
thing in focus groups.
Babbage3 and YouTube, 30% of conglomerates still use focus groups according to recent focus groups. That's great. Okay, we'll finish this clip here.
Is an interesting choice of words when combined with, as Steve Bannon said the other day, words like providence.
Yeah, what's this sort of flirtation that Trump has of a third term, coupled with what Steve Bannon is talking about and raising this idea of, maybe there's different ways. I think so. Some people question even this idea of, what about kind of an acolyte or a proxy, and then Trump staying very involved as an ex-president who would be then, let's be
Shadow government, is that? Remember Obama and like? If I could just
Look
send
at
the
how
voice
many.
thing.
Look how many words she uses to try to get around like what she's actually saying there.
Yeah, it's so funny.
clear well into his 80s. What is the precedent for that? And why have presidents so shied away from that kind of thing?
No, like Obama literally did that though. He tried to do that.
Publicly shied away from it.
Oh, but he
didn't say
admitted
he
to
was
wanting to do it.
That's true.
We have a president, and then that is supposed to be the leader. That is the democratically elected leader of what is now the longest running republic in the history of the world. And perhaps, the providence is that at 250, it's no longer. But the president should not, the Constitution is really clear. You are elected, you can serve a certain amount of time, and then no longer. And I think that there are, as Bannon threatened, I would say, like, we do have to take this quite seriously. We should view it as a threat. There are patterns that are established, and we should look at them. I think that when he threatens that there are workarounds, there's all sorts of nightmarish scenarios that we can imagine. But
This bitch is retarded, bro. Like, what is she saying?
She's a presidential historian, John. She's read every Wikipedia article on all 47 presidents. At least once.
She knows nothing about the presidential history.
Well, she skipped some of them, but like she totally understands presidents. What's funny though is even in her little diatribe there, she's like, we have one president, and that president is democratically elected. And it's like, now say that Donnie is your president. Say that Donnie is your legitimate and one true king. And then like, we'll accept for him. Yeah,
Russia. He's a Putin's puppet, BB.
Right. Yeah,
but also a relation of fake and gay. I don't know. These two lesbians are both retarded. What's that?
One
the
thing
book
I
behind
thought
her too. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah. What is that? You never forget your first. She can't help but make it a slutty ass little innuendo too.
I don't know. Was George Washington
he could have been
a ladies' man? I mean, the first president, he probably was, I'd imagine.
This is an ad for her OnlyFans, is what I think. But some of the language, what's this one? Is this, what's this blonde lady's name?
I don't know.
Conway? Is that? No. Who knows?
Anyway, let's make up a name for her. She's got some weird necklines there. Maybe we can spin off something there.
Frumpelstiltskin.
Frumpelstiltskin. I like that. Look at
yeah. Okay, so Frumpelstiltskin here has some actually telling language that I don't know if she's reading a script. If she's not reading a script, then there might be some Freudian slips in there. She talks about acolytes. What did she use when referencing? Did
she say cult?
Bannon? I don't think she used cult, but she referenced like scripture, and she is basically talking about the danger of the dictatorial Trump and his acolytes, but she's using religious and largely Christian words, Christian denominated words, religious imagery to talk about it. And I think it's kind of funny on two notes. Number one, they're trying to paint Christian nationalism or Christians as this ultra violent nationalist movement. So they're just going further in there. But it's also kind of funny because it demonstrates what they're afraid of, right? Like, she doesn't actually allege any crimes being committed here or any severe rhetoric coming out. She's just like, yeah, they're acolytes. It's kind of religious coded and everything. It's like, yeah, I mean, well, a lot of Americans are Christians and they really like Donald Trump. So that all tracks.
Well, I mean, the biggest nightmare was Trump getting in there in the first place, right? And they did everything they possibly could to delegitimize him and remove him. Ultimately, that culminated in stealing the election from him. Then he came back in anyway. And so now I think they're in the phase where they're like, okay, we just need to weather the storm 4 more years.
Yeah.
And you start hearing whispers of, oh, well, Trump is serious about this third term thing. Like people around him now are starting to be serious about it too. Quick, cue up JD Vance on a Fox News interview about upcoming, hopeful, whatever, him and Rubio on a ticket. But Trump himself did come out and say something about this. And I think we should probably mosey on through a little bit of this. President Donald Trump, who's currently in Asia, said on Wednesday he wouldn't run for a third term, stating that it's barred by the U.S. Constitution. And I like how he's saying this, because this is like what Bannon was saying. This is the argument that the lesbian from The Economist was saying. Like, you can't do that. It's not constitutional.
Right.
And Bannon was like, yes, I can. But Trump said, yeah, if you read it, it's pretty clear. I'm not allowed to run. It's too bad. So he's like saying he would run again if he had the opportunity.
If it was deemed constitutional, right?
Yep. And that's what's interesting here, because I think Bannon was onto something.
Yeah, shout out to Miss Rise Attire, said that the word I was looking for earlier was providence. She said providence. So I thought that yes, I refresh and it's working. Ghost said it was always working on mobile. It's just not working. It wasn't working on desktop. But yeah, that word providence is interesting. That's the word Bannon used. She repeated it. And they don't like that. They don't like that religious coding imagery. They don't like that kind of belief. But to your point here, I saw this as a classic Trump rug pull and like a Trump bicameral, where he's like, yeah, I mean, these are those brilliant moments where he's technically just stating the facts and telling you the truth. He's not lying or anything. And yet you can take these words very literally and have them mean something totally different than what the mainstream thinks. I mean, is Trump going to be president again in 2029? I don't know. But the fact that he's talking about the Constitution, first of all, he's making them go all in on a defense of the Constitution, which is the thing they've been trying to destroy forever.
Yeah.
So that's for starters. But second, yeah, if it was deemed constitutional, there's a few ways that could happen. Chris talks about the 22nd Amendment all the time. But besides that, what about the 2020 election?
Yeah, the 2020 election is obviously the big one. And speaking of that, I mean, one of my favorite Truth Social posts from Trump from that time period is when he said the unprecedented fraud requires unprecedented cure. Right. You could use that regarding a lot of things. But it is still kind of silly to me that we're having this discussion about the 2028 election now. It's like almost talking about the midterms now. I think that's ridiculous too. It's more so, what is intriguing is not that we're having the discussion, it's that it's coming almost out of a place of panic from some of these people. And they're trying to get like everybody on record. Like they went to Mike Johnson, they're going to JD Vance, they're going to Trump himself. And they're like, just, please pinky promise us that you can't run
leave, right?
because of that Constitution thing that we have there. Right. and it's just weird that they're trying to get it on the record now. But who knows?
You sort of let in with it a few minutes ago as well, that you and I had discussed hibernation theory.
Yeah.
And, you mentioned that a few minutes ago, just in terms of they thought they could wait him out. And I think that's us theorizing that seemed to be the approach heading into 2025 that a lot of them were taking. They kind of took their foot off the propaganda gas a little bit. Of course, they've been provoked and they're back at it and Orange Man bad and all that. But they kind of took their foot off the gas in early 2025. So we had talked about hibernation theory. This right here, this rhetoric you're talking about, it does, I think, further bolster the argument that has been their goal. They're going, it didn't work last time we tried the color revolution thing. So, like a media version of the color revolution. So they've been trying to do the wait it out thing. And this is the most emotional and panicked we've seen them in a little while. And it's about something that's 3 years away.
Yeah.
That's telling.
Yeah, and it's almost too like they're not talking about Dem candidates either. They're not talking about like who'd your challenger be, like who's the best. It doesn't matter who runs because they're doing so bad that it's going to be Gavin Newsom or something. They're like, okay, you guys got this in the bag already. It's just not going to be Trump though, right? We need our guys back. We need our Rhino back in there. But yeah, interesting stuff. I wonder if we'll get more commentary on that soon. But I did see a video. Trump is currently meeting with Xi Jinping.
There we go.
Well, thank you very much. It's a great honor to be with a friend of mine, really for a long time now, if you think about it. The very, very distinguished and respected president of China. And we will be having some discussions. I think we've already agreed to a lot of things, and we'll agree to some more right now. But President Xi is a great leader of a great country, and I think we're going to have a fantastic relationship for a long period of time. And it's an honor to have you with us. Thank you very much. Well,
Yeah, these are things you'd say, but been saying this forever. Every single on the Power Hour going back 3 years. Every single time Trump brings up Xi, he always brings him up that way. Talks about how they've been friends a long time and they know each other very well and they're going to be fine. Everything's going to be okay. And I also like that, when he's talking about, I know I'm a broken record with the deals are done. But even from kind of a normie perspective, if you think that Donald Trump is flying from Cambodia and Thailand to Japan to South Korea to China, to South Korea to meet with the Chinese, and that he's figuring these deals out when he's there, and that's what's going on, you've got to evolve a little bit beyond that. Even if you're not into the sovereign alliance theory, even if you don't think that everything is totally done, anything that's being announced in the wake of these sit-downs was obviously stuff that they agreed to and had worked out ahead of time. I don't expect this from an actual perspective. I don't expect this meeting to result in the disclosure of we figured everything out. I think it's just going to move the ball a little bit forward, rare earth minerals, whatever they want to say. But, I've kind of been reframing this and just saying, if you just replace the word deals with disclosures, these kind of conferences and joint pressers take on a little bit of a different tone.
Yeah, I am curious to see, what they're saying on the flip side of this, mainly because of all the drama, the fabricated drama that we got in the lead up to this from the Trump side. I mean, they freaked out over the hostile letter and the export control and the rare earths, and Trump's been going around everywhere. Based on how many deals he's made on rare earths in the past, just month alone, we should have no worries or issues with rare earth minerals anymore. But he made a big deal out of that thing. And I'm curious to see what the reason is. We can speculate on it, but I think once we see what the flip side of this deal looks like, we'll have a better idea of, it'll be like an aha moment as to what was really going on in the lead up to it. But check, I think this is another video of them shaking hands.
Mr. President, the President of the People's Republic of China.
Good to meet you. Great pleasure to see you again.
Good to see you again.
Me too.
And we're going to have a very successful meeting, I have no doubt. But he's a very tough negotiator. That's not good.
Kind of looks annoyed. Xi Jinping looks a little annoyed.
He always does.
Is he always?
He's like stone face. He very rarely smiles. He got a little smile out of him.
Oh.
Putin is a little more jovial, ironically, even though he's the Russian. Modi's probably the most happy of the bros.
Hey, you think more than Trump? Or you're taking like
no,
non-Trump bros?
The non-Trump bros.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And Kim can break character a lot. He doesn't quite have the stone face. Xi's taken him under his wing to try to get him to embrace the stone face, but our boy Kim's just too much of a party animal.
I wonder, have we heard if Trump is going to meet with Kim Jong-un?
Last I saw, it wasn't confirmed, but I agree with Ghost that I think we are going to get that. That'd be a rug. Don't do that to us, Donnie. You got to give us, and I demand hilarious pictures of Trump and Kim in some sort of cool car. He better take Kim around in the Beast or an equivalent. They better fly a Beast over there or get that thing out of a transport. Yeah.
I want to see I want to see like some horseback riding, like with Putin. You know, like how Putin does that.
Yeah,
when Putin went to North Korea, didn't they like look at dogs or something, or puppies or animals? Wasn't that a thing?
I think it was the president of Kazakhstan had gifted Putin cool dogs.
No, I'm pretty sure
Putin didn't
it was,
like the way he was holding them.
Pretty sure it was. Yeah, it was this one.
Oh, did he? They had a little dog thing too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There you go. Maybe is that the dog that Kazakhstan guy gave Putin?
No, Russia's President Vladimir Putin and North Korea pet dogs during a walk. I'm pretty sure.
That's what I'm saying.
North Korea's Kim gives pair of dogs to Putin.
Geez, he's always getting dogs.
I wonder how many dogs he has.
From everybody. Man.
He must have a good
He's got a lot of dogs.
Poop cleaning service.
Yeah, but the funniest, and Ghost has got the memes all queued up. Yeah, Ghost, 1000% going to happen. Ghost, over under on funny car pictures. What will they take a ride in for their joyride? And Kim likes to do most of his fake negotiations within a closed vehicle with whichever sovereign alliance bro he's meeting with.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like his shtick. Everybody's got one. Xi's is never smiling.
Xi's is never smiling. Also there's this video from the Rapid Response, and I thought it was kind of cool. It takes me back to the beginning of the Devolution series. This one he's saying, like, we'll be back in some form. Remember this clip?
We love you. We will be back in some form. His bullet ripped through my ear. But I felt then, and believe even more so now, that my life was saved for a reason. I was saved by God to make America great again. Congratulations, Mr. President. We won.
I may have just watched that first clip that I didn't know. I thought it was gonna be more like.
Where was this clip posted?
This was on the White House, or Rapid Response posted it.
If I were to provide some feedback on the tone of the video.
Just be clear, nobody's asking you for feedback, but yes, go ahead.
Yeah, if I were to hypothetically provide some, I don't know if a song about blowjobs is the one.
Is that what that song's about? Why do you know that song's about that?
I'm down on my knees. I want to take you there in the midnight hour. I can feel desire.
Why do you know so many of the
lyrics?
lyrics?
Just like a prayer, I'm going to take you there. It's Madonna, man.
Why do you know so much Madonna, bro?
She a hoe. And that's what that song's about. So I'm just saying.
Oh, for show.
I'm just saying. It's not really the one I'd use for like uplifting.
Just curious, are you like a blowjob song aficionado or something? Like, why do you?
I'm not one. And Ash in the chat that just finally booted back up for the 5th time for me Says the music video is a Luciferian ritual, and that's true. Yeah. Ash's mom wouldn't let her listen to that, and yet she turned into a hoe anyway. So what you gonna do?
Do you see her with those alpacas? If you guys go watch last Friday's. We'll go watch the last 2 Friday Only Lands. Both.
We've been trying to make sure that show lives up to its billing.
Bangers, yeah. Got another great True Social post from Trump here, talking about nuclear weapons, and this must have been in the lead up to the meeting with Kim Jong Un or with Xi Jinping. I have to admit, yeah, this was before. So before he goes into a meeting with Xi Jinping, he posts, "The United States has more nuclear weapons than any other country. This was accomplished, including a complete update and renovation of existing weapons during my first term in office. Because of the tremendous destructive power, I hated to do it, but had no choice. Russia is second, and China is a distant third, but we'll be even within 5 years."
Negs them.
Yeah, because of other countries' testing programs, I have instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis. That process will begin immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. We did hear a story, I think it was this week or maybe last week, of Russia testing, I think it was this week. Russia tested a nuke, and they were like, this is a nuke that can go sideways in the air and and it's undetectable and can dodge a bullet and dodge a wrench and everything.
I was just thinking that if it can dodge a wrench, it can dodge a ball. I actually pulled out the exact quote from that article the other day. Let me find it. They described it as a one-of-a-kind weapon with unlimited range and extreme maneuverability. And in my notes, I said kind of like a narrative, because I think that these things are all narratives. And then today, they added some more fuel for my next features fire, which is that they named it the Poseidon, which is a myth. So he started by describing it as this invisible, ultimately powerful thing. And now they've named it the Poseidon.
You're trying to say it's a myth? It's fake?
Well,
how dare you?
I'm not saying it's fake, but I do think the story is fake in terms of, that they're actually going to do this. But yeah, called it the Poseidon, and Zero Hedge had said, where is it?
Where does it fall on the fake gay coefficient? Like what number would you give it? Or is it a scale? What are we using for that now? Is it a pie
I'm not
chart?
an expert on whether or not it could be real from a physical object perspective, but from a story perspective, I think it's quite fake.
But
all the way fake.
Again, the all the way fake and gay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Zero Hedge says the words nuclear and tsunami. So anyway, he said it was the Poseidon, and that what this nuke does is it's a cobalt bomb, and it creates a tsunami, a tidal wave, a radioactive tidal wave. So, we haven't seen that in a Roland Emmerich movie yet, but Putin just geared us up for the next disaster film. So it's going to be a radioactive tidal wave or tsunami, and it's designed to hit the enemy coastline, for miles and miles and miles, and render the coastline completely uninhabitable forever.
Wow.
So we better not, mess with this. Now, of course, they
imagine
just came
what that
up
would do
with
to
this
beachfront
recently.
real estate on the coast, man. That
Exactly.
would just totally be trashed.
Yeah, you go to the beach and you're like, there's cancer, right? If the sun's not going to give it to me, it's the frickin' Poseidon. Thanks, Vlad.
If they're just trying to scare us, they need to come out with one of these nukes that does radioactive Sharknado. That needs to be the next.
They're
nuke.
getting there, man. They're talking about radioactive tsunamis. Well, shut up. It's ridiculous. And Zero Hedge. This is where I say the alt media that still takes themselves really seriously. They're so close, but they're so far. They accurately point out that this is designed to scare people, and it's a narrative. The difference is they think it's a real thing that they could do. They just think the story of them threatening it is fake. So nobody in military world has ever heard of something like this, but the Russians are like, we've been working on this a while. It's going to create a radioactive tsunami. Furthermore, if they could do something like that, and they're waving it around as some kind of threat, there is no way a rational actor in any of these major nations would ever do that to another nation that they eventually ostensibly even want the chance of negotiating with in the future, right? Like, just logically speaking, if you don't think the sovereign alliance exists, you would never hit the United States with a radioactive tsunami that you admit would do no real damage to the interior infrastructure or military of the country. It would just be there to irradiate the beaches all along the shore. If you do that, you've just provoked the exact war that you're saying you're trying to deter with this kind of thing. It's absolutely retarded, and I think it's retarded on purpose.
Well, I mean, I don't think they're going to use it, obviously. I don't think they have it either. I do think the argument that, like, you wouldn't do this to somebody you want to have a long-term deal with or an eventual deal with is a great argument, because we're told bomb Japan back in the day, and now we're like best bros. Did you see
subjugating Japan?
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, the whole thing is silly. And I love the timing of Trump's tweet here, because if you're from a normie perspective, okay, ignore the sovereign alliance aspect for a little bit, just public facing narratives. You're watching Trump talk about his nuclear arsenal, belittling Xi Jinping and his nuclear arsenal before the meeting with Xi Jinping, in which you've described him as hostile and some of these things with what he's doing with the export controls and rare earth minerals. Like, that's a vague threat. If there was no sovereign alliance there. And I mean, I think it's great. I think it's funny. But it's also,
Trump is the heel in the Xi, like, to Ghost is always using the wrestling analogies, and Trump is playing the heel publicly to Xi with this whole thing.
Yeah, well, I just think the media's reaction here is going to be fun to watch, and especially depending on how it turns out, like what he does. Because if it goes really well for Trump will be able to say that, I basically low key threatened him with our nukes.
Yeah,
and got exactly what I wanted on the flip side of this. He got him to back down, or if it backfired, like, I mean, I don't think it's gonna backfire, but I think it's a brilliant little narrative play from Trump here, spinning off the media with that the vague little threat that he did there.
And the next truth is, I think, way bigger, and that is a sovereign alliance Truth Social post that and as I've been saying, the curious case of intermittent de-escalation. Or intermittent escalation is what I've been calling it for 3 years. So to your point, Trump threatens Xi. This post, the G2 will be convening shortly, was posted after the one John just read about nukes. And I think this has signal all over it. For the last few weeks and on Wednesday night with you and Chris, I was talking about the idea of the EU and NATO having a lot of fractures right now. And for 3 years, I've been saying that while Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump are affecting a pincer move that's kinetic on NATO, I believe Trump and Putin are going after NATO. I believe Trump and Xi are going after the EU, or as he's referencing here, the G7 from an economic perspective. And what Trump is saying here, first of all, I think is a sovereign alliance comm. He's referring to the US and China as the G2. So it's a direct shot to the G7, which is the EU, and
the G20.
And the G20, and I had confirmed this and asked the machine, but I already was writing about this last week, just so people. I think I've been talking about this on the narrative and on Power Hour, and with Chris as well. That people still, I think a lot of people that don't read about this stuff don't understand like how meaningless these other countries are in the context of this discussion, this macro discussion. In order to equal the economic power, or GDP, of the United States and China combined, you would have to get to the next 30 countries in the world in order of number 2 through number 30 combined have lower GDP than the US and China.
3 through 30.
3 through 30, yeah. Sorry. So, yeah, I mean, actually, no, 3 through 32, because it said the next 30 on the list after those two. So it's not that other countries don't have anything. Russia's very militarily strong and everything. They're like number 7 or 8 or something like that in terms of GDP. But this is the economic theater of the war. And what Trump signaled there, in my opinion, was a threat to the EU, and just said, or a taunt to them, just said like, you guys don't matter. You don't factor into our discussion at all. the next 30 countries in the world could cut off trade, and as long as the US and China have a deal, none of it matters. And that's why I think it's a sovereign alliance comm. I don't think this is just about, hey, this is a really important negotiation. I think it was a direct threat to the globalists to get in line and stay in line, because he's saying, as soon as me and Xi announce a framework heading into the future, all of you de facto are going to have to bow down to that framework. And that's not even getting into the fact that most of the top 10, or a lot of the top 10, are already aligned with China because they're in BRICS.
Yep.
So, anyway, I just thought it was brilliant. And it's like, you've got Germany, France, the UK, and Canada sitting there right now, just butt cheeks clenched, because they know that they're completely irrelevant in the context of this conversation.
Yeah, I also, oh man, what was I going to say? You said something that made me think of something, and then you lost me with the Canada thing. What were you just saying before that? No, what were you saying before that?
30 countries, GDP.
Oh, no, you were saying European Union, NATO, or whatever is like completely irrelevant. Trump directly told them that when they were discussing the peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. So not only has he done that in terms of like in terms of political power here and actual warfare, overt warfare, you guys mean nothing to me. You have no say in this. You do not get to dictate how things go. And now he's doing it in the economic side as well.
Exactly.
So there's an interesting parallel there.
And people like that don't get this, people that have not been engaging with this stuff, people that whether you got the inkling out of the drops or through Badlands or whoever, if you've been following anything else and you actually think that Trump has real rivalries with Putin and Xi, then, you're not going to see this. But as soon as you allow yourself to believe that these guys do have frameworks worked out, you can see how they're using those partnerships. That's why I keep calling it a pincer. By definition, to have a pincer, you need to be coming at the enemy from opposite directions, which is exactly what these negotiations are.
Well, if their butt cheeks are clenched, could we call it a pincher instead?
We could call it a pincher. Actually, the pincer is forcing the cheeks together.
The pincer.
So they're the ones.
The pincer. The pincher.
Pincer. I like it. Well, we need to workshop it, I think, a little bit.
I don't know. I feel like it's already perfect. I don't know if there's much more we need to workshop.
Sanctions and Sphincters. That's the book I'm working on right now.
Sphincter sanctions? Sanctions and sphincters?
But, and again, in the EU...
all great t-shirt ideas. Anyway, continue. I'll keep
these are just... these are obviously just the stupid acronyms and bullshit. But, a lot we've talked about a lot this year. A lot of the narrative on the domestic side has been reining in the administrative state and the agencies. And the agencies are all defined literally by these 3-letter agencies, 4-letter agencies, whatever it is, from USAID to everything else, the FDA and beyond. Well, there's a globalist version of that, and that is the EU and NATO are the most powerful versions. They're essentially agencies. They have no constitutional authority from any of these nations. That's why you had the whole Brexit vote and everything. That's why you've got Slovakia and Hungary that have their eye on the door, like I was talking about Wednesday night. So this is kind of Doge, but on the global scale. And like you said, when you look at it as Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin versus NATO and Donald Trump and Xi Jinping versus the EU, they are completely porked, which is why for years on the show, I have said the only nations that I think are really in for like a rough transition into this new era is Europe. I think they are in for a rough transition.
Well, especially because their citizens are a bunch of pussies. Like they've allowed so much bullshit to happen. The immigration there is ridiculous, but I don't want to talk about Europe, man. I don't want to talk about those faggots. Let's just, if you're watching the show, you're great. We love you.
Yeah.
Because you're based. But the people that don't watch the show from Europe, y'all, it's gonna be tough. I would legally migrate to the United States, get a gold card while you can before it's too late.
Yeah. What is it, 5 mil?
5 mil. Yeah. It was weird. We didn't hear a peep about that gold card for a while, and then all of a sudden, like just
it's back
2-3 weeks ago, it's like, oh yeah, guys, don't forget that gold card. Why don't we play a quick soft disclosure promo? So I can go pee quick, and then we'll pick back up on some of our next topics.
In on the
what?
On the secret.
On the secret of what?
Nothing. Just
soft disclosure. Okay, be right back.
Before skincare went synthetic, people used something simple, something real. Tallow. Grass-fed and finished beef tallow is packed with vitamins A, D, E, and K. Nutrients your skin actually knows what to do with. It locks in moisture, restores elasticity, and defends against winter dryness. No water, no preservatives, and no BS. Unlike plant oils or chemical creams, tallow mimics your skin's own structure. Elbows, hands, knees, post-shave, anywhere your skin's crying for real moisture. Perfect for gifting or keeping your own skin soft when the cold hits. Visit softdisclosure.com and use promo code Badlands for 15% off. Ancient care, modern truth.
Soft disclosure.
By the way, I saw my chat is still broken, but I saw somebody else say Micro gifted 10 subs. Appreciate that, Micro. We didn't see it.
Micro.
I do have the rant. The rants do seem to be coming through. So if you guys are sending rants over, they do seem to be coming through. So we have those.
Yeah, actually, I see a Micro Toolmaker, Rumble Rant. I see a couple Keith O'Higgins.
Yeah, we've got those.
ZBM, Julie Jan, Elizabeth. Somebody testing the rant. Somebody tested a $2 rant. People were saying like the $100 rants weren't working. We should get a couple tests on those too.
Oh yeah. What about the 1 BTC rants?
Just kidding.
Try those up pretty soon. Rumble integrating that, as you said earlier. That's
some exciting
maybe
stuff.
we'll have some whale that's a long time Badlands watcher. He's like, here's 1,000 Bitcoin.
I mean, if that ever happens,
we're gone.
We're getting a real jet, a house jet, as I said the other day on my show. Let's talk real quick about. Let's move away from some of the sovereign alliance stuff to more domestic treason stuff.
Domestic violence.
Not violence. Silence is violence. Maybe that doesn't make sense in this context. But let's talk about this. This came out the other day. I mean, it's pretty great. It's pretty base, but it also doesn't go far enough. But it's worth discussing. The Oversight Committee declares the Biden executive action is null and void, calls on DOJ for review. Now, we've been talking about this. This story has been ongoing for a while now. The DOJ has been, or not the DOJ, the Oversight Committee has been doing an investigation, putting together a strongly worded report on what they think needs to happen here. And the details are out there. We can all go look at it if we wanted to. There's one part of the report, I read through most of it. Let me download it. The part that I'm excited about is right here at the end of the intro. The committee recommends the Department of Justice investigate all former President Biden's executive actions, particularly clemency actions, to assess whether legal action must be taken to void any action that the former president did not, in fact, take himself. We also found out, I think it was January 25th. I think I saw somewhere it was January 25th was the first date he ever used the autopen, which I think is notable because where the hell did I see that? I want to find that date and confirm it because the 25th is a significant date. In Biden's first like 5 to 10 days in office, he issued a whole bunch of executive orders, right? Trump gets back in and he rescinded all of his first ones. Like none of the first executive orders or executive actions Biden made in those first 5 days anyway, even exist anymore because Trump rescinded them all. And then if he started using the autopen on the 5th day in office, well, you could make an argument that every single one of Biden's actions could be null and void based on this story. But again, as we always say, Biden's actions are not illegitimate because he used an autopen. Biden's actions are legitimate because he was not legitimately elected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Chris uses the same kind of terminology in terms of translation layers. That's what this seems like. Of course, I can get on board with it if we do get toward and continue toward the disclosure of 2020 and action about it, public action about that. The whole devolution theory obviously is based around the idea that action was taken as a direct result of the election fraud. But yeah, this is like normie layer translations. it's kind of interesting to think about it in terms of timing on both ends. It's interesting when you mentioned that he rescinded a bunch of the executive orders on day one. You know, what I wonder what binds the ones together that he specifically went in to rescind. Like from a timing perspective, not on the normie layers, but from a timing perspective, maybe he wanted to get those unwound quicker.
A lot of them were like red tape ones. Like Biden got in there in the first, first day was 17 executive orders that or something that he issued. A lot of them were rescinding Trump's energy executive orders, and then Biden's also put out a lot of red tape and Green New Deal stuff. Trump rescinded all that stuff immediately. Like it was a lot of energy stuff. But there's stuff beyond that. We still haven't had any word on Executive Order 13961, the partial revocation. It had a review back in March, and it was due in September for like a report. And we were supposed to get an update on what was next, and we haven't got that yet. Still waiting on, check that almost every day. Still nothing. But yeah, there's a lot of executive actions Trump rescinded. Now it's well over 100.
The other thing I think of when it comes to the timing of the executive orders, especially when you mention red tape and energy and things like that, we talk about the switch theory all the time, and it's the less popular reading of these things. But we've all advanced various theories in this community for a long time about the point of the Biden administration. Was it obviously it was countered and accounted for, but was it planned? Was it part of the plan the whole time? When you look at some of the executive orders from Biden, assuming none of them really were going to hold weight long term, if the switch theory holds, it stands to reason that patriots knew that this stuff was going to take time. And so they might have allowed or piloted some of those early Biden executive orders and let them ride for 4 years while the infrastructure was being put in place, and the planning was being put in place. Like in other words, that you could look at those executive orders not just as Biden executive orders that they allowed, but as de facto Patriot executive orders that were temporary EOs, in order to get the timing right for the transition. And I'm not saying that just from a narrative perspective of like they wanted everything to be really shitty and then get better. I more mean it might have been that some of these energy executive orders and everything would have interfered with that transition if they had been occurring at the same time. And now we're seeing, if you Google micronuclear reactors at all lately, and shout out to General Quast, who's been talking about that technology for years to the Badlands audience. Now it's all the rage. They're saying by 2028, like all military bases are going to be running on micronuclear reactors. And that's all tied into these executive orders that many of them that Biden paused or stopped.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the freaking article.
We're not going out, man. Stop it.
It shows... Hold on. I can't find the actual article, but recent report says... recent reports do show that the autopen was used as early as January 25th, 2021 during Joe Biden's presidency. But yeah, it's interesting. If we keep continuing down this path, as we have with everything else, where we're going to do the normie battle space, we're going to do everything by the normie book, we're going to delegitimize Biden based on the autopen instead of the fraudulent election stuff. But it's up to us to have that understanding and keep pushing the prospect of, no, this is not far enough. It's great. It's fun. Yeah. But it's not far enough. It's he's illegitimate because he was he was not legitimately elected.
Anyway, you can understand and observe narratives and translation layers without participating in them, and I think that's kind of a line that that you can straddle.
Yeah.
It's different, I think, if you're wholesale, buying into the narrative. That's not the point of that. It would more just be for cultivating that mandate. That's why you get these translation layers, because you can see why they would do it this way. And I don't buy into the it's to help people's feelings and so they're not upset. I more mean when I say translation, and maybe this is what Chris means as well. It's more like literally trying to get normal people to understand the illegitimacy first, to your earlier point, And then we can reverse engineer that. Be like, okay, now let me take you a little bit further in. I don't think it's about protecting feelings. I think it's just about, like, we literally need you guys to understand that these things don't count first, and then we're going to get you further down the line of why they don't count.
You know, that's interesting. It kind of reminds me of something I talked about on, I think it was Monday on my show. The phrase that a lot of people have been using of, you can't tell people the truth, you have to show them. For whatever reason, like what you just said there kind of reminds me of that. Like, first we're gonna get them to understand it, and then we'll peel the layers back further. But I don't think that phrase makes sense to me anymore. And I used to believe it too. I've even talked about it, like, you know, part of the reason Trump stepped away is because he actually had to show people what they'd be in for, you know, with these people in office. And you know, really expose people. It's an exposure op. But recent events have kind of shown me that it doesn't matter. You can show people the truth. You can literally show them. Like, you've been telling you've told them personally, like, yeah, man, that's not true. That's lies. Here's the truth. Here's what happened. And then, you know, they don't believe you. They do bad things. They lie about you, all these things, whatever. And then you actually literally show them the proof that they needed. And they're still like, well, you know, probably not. I don't know, you know what? And they continue to do that shit. Like, even showing people who call themselves truthers, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change them. It exposes motivations, if anything. So I don't know if I buy into that narrative anymore. And I don't know. I got to imagine that at some point, the excuses that we come up with, and I'm not saying this is what you're doing. This just triggered something for me. It's something that's been grinding my gears lately. The excuses that we come up with to justify the pace or the reasoning behind certain things happening or not happening at all. I think sometimes we're just kind of fooling ourselves. And I know that's not easy to hear, because like, we all want to think that there are bigger things going on. And I do personally believe that there are bigger things going on behind the scenes. But it's stuff like that makes me really understand the need to push the issue regardless of what you believe, because a lot of these justifications, when you stack them up, they start to kind of fall flat a little bit. And I think that's something to be concerned about, and we should all at least be aware of.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And this is why a lot of times we end up coming back around to, I think, a core, sort of an organic mission statement that's kind of started coming out of Badlands, not recently, but even going back before the 2024 election. Obviously, Chris Paul is kind of the patron saint of this, but you as well were talking about this the whole time when it comes to elections and everything. G Money, you know, we were talking about him earlier. There's different theaters in which you can apply that mentality, whether you're talking about political or financial or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, you can believe that there's bigger things going on. But if you're wrong, then operating as if there's not bigger things going on is the correct path forward. And even if you're right, it's when we talk about the feedback loop that may or may not be in the offing between Trump and the American people. And I think that he's given us enough hints and enough direct evidence that there absolutely is a feedback loop. And the key there, to your point, that I think a lot of people in the truth community or in MAGA miss, is they forget the loop aspect of that. Like, they think of this closed communication going on. Trump is talking to us, but they don't think of the loop coming back around of you talking to him. And it's like, yes, often his communications to the American people are to get the loop to come back to him. So that more is to your point. It's not about, oh, it's a translation layer, just, you know, leave it there then. It's like, no, maybe this is going to lead people into that loop. Maybe it's meant to trigger people into that loop. But either way, it's your responsibility as an American and as a free-thinking individual to engage in your own, in the future of your own life and nation. And Trump obviously has said plenty of times that's exactly what he wants.
Yeah, that, and you know, it also makes me, I don't know, this is a totally tangent topic, and I don't know how far down this tangent we should go before we start upsetting people. But you know what? I sometimes don't care. It makes me like, I wonder the motivations of people continuing to push that rhetoric. You know, like you're sitting here saying, I've literally seen, I could pull true or Twitter posts of people who say, like, you can't Can't tell people, you have to show them, right? But then when that happens in their own personal life, they don't abide by that, and it makes me question motivation, and it also makes me question, like, that's just the micro direct scale that I can associate with, but on the macro scale, like the bigger picture side of things, what if we are wrong about certain things and there are other things going on that we don't understand the big picture of? And even if we believe there is a bigger plan going on, which again, I do, what does that mean in turn? Like, what other parts of this do we not know? Because there are things we don't know. We don't even know exactly what we believe is going on.
Right.
We can't know what we don't even know is going on. None of that, I
can't know what you don't know. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. But that just makes things so much more risky to depend on that in any form or fashion without forging your own path ahead,
Right. Yeah, I agree. And I would say too that when it comes to motivations, besides being wrong, like, let's say, there's the hypothetical you laid out of, okay, we've all engaged with this as, what if it's Operation Trust? What if we're wrong about some of these things? I ultimately don't think that that's what's going on. But even if I engage with this as, yes, there's a white hat plan, and we're, we all as a base are a part of that, etc. There are still motivations for people pushing that rhetoric. One of those motivations I would think of, a second order effect of saying you can't tell the people, you got to show them, is, well, is that what you're doing when you're pushing that rhetoric forward? Because it kind of sounds like you're just telling the people over and over and over again. And it kind of sounds like, I'm not talking about the administration, I'm talking about the people pushing that rhetoric. Mm-hmm. It also kind of sounds like maybe you need people to keep coming to you, or you have deemed yourself the arbiter of what is going on. One of the things I often say that I'm proud of Badlands is that, by and large, nobody here really says that they emphatically know what's going on. We have all of our theories of all of these kinds of things, but we don't know what the plan is. We don't even know if there is a plan, even though we strongly believe that there is. We strongly believe in many of our theories. But one of the things that's great about the Badlands audience is that especially when you go to something like a GART, everybody you talk to is like going to teach you something about some theater that you haven't been paying attention to.
So true.
And we get this mind meld going on. It happens on the shows. We've been saying this for years, but especially the last year or so, there absolutely has been a crucible with us in particular, and and within our audience. Actually, they've all been subjected to various forms of this as well.
They've been the target.
They've been the target. That's true. They were the first target.
Yeah.
We were a secondary target on the back of that. We were almost the second order effect of targeting the audience. But the good thing about that, and you mentioned this last week, but there has been this sifting that's been forced. And you mentioned micro and macro. On the micro, the Badlands audience, some of our shows and rhetoric, it's almost gotten more contentious and more argumentative in some ways, even within the Badlands core.
Yeah.
Yes, in a good way. And you often talk about this. It's one of the things you as the owner are proud of, is that is happening, because that's where you're going to get these ideas coming out. It's happening within our audience in a very good way. And it makes all that weakness, all that just kind of march in lockstep collectivism, communism, and liberalism, as Chris often says, you can see that shit from space now. So even if you do have a different reading of, sometimes you have to show the people, I talk about it in my writing of scare event narratives and stuff like that. I can buy into certain readings of that. It doesn't, however, disabuse me of the notion that you are right, Chris is right, G is right. General Quast at the Plymouth GART was very direct about that, of saying, like, yeah, there's things going on. There's patriots trying to move from their side, push from their side of the door, but this relies on the American people actualizing, self-actualizing. And if you just stay in that little kiddie pool, you're never going to get there.
We just got a huge bomb drop today. Not just the Poseidon bomb tidal wave thing,
right?
But a potential actualization that we can do on a personal level in the tax world. Some tax advice from MTG.
There you go.
MTG money. So
it's the exact. I
wonder if we'll talk about that at GART at all. Well, we'll see. Yeah, badlandsmedia.tv/events. Get your tickets, guys. I do want to play one quick quick clip before we move off the autopen story, just because it's from John Solomon and he's talking about the autopen. And I do believe the autopen scandal obviously connects to the Rico Grande investigation, along with the Jack Smith stuff that we're going to get into after this. Also connects to the Rico Grande investigation, which is why I think these narratives are coming out now. But take a listen.
His inner circle, Joe Biden's inner circle, covered up for the country the fact that he was in mental decline and that he was so unavailable to do his job on a daily basis that the staff secretary, probably the most important person in the White House, the guy you see next to Donald Trump every time he has a press conference and he's signing a document, Will Sharf. Well, Joe Biden's version of that person, Nara Tanden, didn't see him for 6 to 8 weeks at a time. She had no idea whether he'd approved the documents that were coming through her hands. He was an AWOL president in decline, and the people around him misled the American people. That's what this report says. And then the man sitting right next to you on the screen, Jim Jordan, releases some bombshell documents today in this other investigation. What do we know now? We know that the memo that the FBI used to open up Arctic Frost, which then targeted 160 Republicans, 92 conservative groups, 8 senators, 1 House member, a president, and a vice president, was really deficient under the guidelines of the FBI. The memo that opens up Arctic Frost uses words like evidence suggesting. It doesn't actually lay out a predicate. And it's looking at a crime that by submitting alternate or fake electors, as they use, or fraudulent electors is the term they use here, they committed a crime. The memo does not address the fact that in 2 prior times in American history, similar fake, fraudulent, or alternate electors were submitted. In South Carolina, 1876, Hawaii, 1960, no prosecution occurred. That isn't even mentioned in the FBI memo. So bombshell stuff from Jim Jordan and James Comer today.
What are you interpreting from these discoveries? And the question I get asked most often, you come up with all this information and nothing ever happens. Now, things are beginning to happen that never happened before. Where do you see this going?
Well, I think Kash Patel and Pam Bondi are going to continue to provide extraordinary clarity to Chairman Jordan, Chairman Comer, and others to get the evidence to make the decisions about whether crimes were committed in this process. What you're seeing in Arctic Frost is a redo of Russia collusion, a weakly predicated case that looks like a Democratic opposition research project being done by the FBI, and you get the National Archives and Congress helping them. I think that that's what this is going to turn out to be, another Russia case.
You see a prima facie case that they abused power and were spying on people without a proper warrant?
Yeah, I think the chairman has it right. This is a get Trump investigation. Now the question is, what laws provide? Did people lie? Did they cover up? Did they commit crimes? Did they violate civil liberties? That's going to be Pam Bondi's decision. I think the grand juries are starting to really ramp up around the country. I think we'll see some more activity in the next few weeks.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Rico Grande, this all connects together. And it's just, I love seeing John Solomon. He's the guy I think is the leading edge of the narratives. So
yeah. So yeah, speaking of translation layers, he's like the human translation layer or timeline layer. It's like, all right, here's where we're at. Remember 2016-17. Now just flash forward.
Yeah, good stuff. And they brought in the Jack Smith thing, the not having a predicate. It really is like a Russiagate 2.0. But it also makes the timing of what Trump did when he announced in terms of like the special counsel and all that stuff, the timeline that took place there, it's still so fascinating to me because we talked about that. It was right after the midterms. Trump comes out and announces, and you know, at the time we were talking about, okay, is he like, did he know the special counsel was coming? Probably, obviously. Did he know, you know, some of this other stuff that was going on, these investigations? Of course, they'd already raided him at Mar-a-Lago. Like this just adds another layer. The details of this stuff coming out, because we already saw this as political persecution, the J6 stuff, the Jack Smith stuff, and now to see the details coming out of what little predicate they actually had, and the fact that Bill Barr had to sign a memo, or Bill Barr created a memo in 2020, which ended up forcing AG Garland to have to approve and sign off on the Arctic Frost investigation. Plus, I kind of dig the name Arctic Frost. I hope Frozen 3, when it comes out, they name it Frozen 3 Arctic Frost.
It might have nothing to do with it, but I can't help but think of the Arctic Frost thing. The fact that so much of this spins out from their original collusion around the Russia narrative, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that flash forward to 2025, and we've got the Trump-Putin Alaska summit. We've got all of the talk going on between Russia and the U.S., of course, in between threatening each other with radioactive tsunamis. They are also actively planning future joint economic projects. Most of those are built around Arctic cooperation. So just from a narrative perspective, it's pretty interesting. You know, you can look at this as, okay, deep state, the deep state's naming it this, but I don't know. How far back does the Patriot Plan go in terms of trying to catch these people? And the naming here, it's kind of interesting. Or it could have been that that's ultimately what they're trying to stop, which goes all the way back to pre-American Civil War. The last time they tried to stop, well, they did stop U.S. and Russia cooperation in the Arctic.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never thought of that angle on it, but yeah,
It's weird.
we'll see what happens.
It's all connected. Yeah.
I'm still waiting. We haven't had like hardly any classified document dumps. I mean, this is the dumps we're getting. It's not directly related to pre-2021 election, 2020 election stuff. This is all post the stuff we're getting lately. I want to see more of the 2020 stuff. That's the stuff that interests me, because that's the stuff that, you know, I believe more directly ties to devolution, obviously. The stuff that we're getting now is stuff that happened during the devolution term, which not to say it's not interesting, but I want to see more of the other stuff. And we've gotten a complete pause on all of those document dumps. Not to say it's not coming. But it's just weird. The timing of us not getting those dumps anymore came with the Charlie Kirk assassination, which I also think is a weird timeline thing. But
That's true.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I was going to say it kind of undoes it when you're saying a lot of this stuff is from the Biden term, because otherwise, when it came to Solomon's initial round of kind of disclosures at the beginning of the summer, it made sense to me if you're going to go back on the timeline, the narrative timeline, and the actual timeline of the coup, and the fact that the coup, I think the way to frame it is the coup culminated in the 2020 election theft, but obviously it began long before that. So that would make sense to me. But yeah, it is interesting that now they're talking about stuff during the Biden term. So we could be, speaking of pincers, we could be looking at a pincer that way in terms of the translation, right? Of saying this is all the subversion they did in the lead up to the coup, and this is everything they did to cover up the coup.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're working our way backwards and forward on that timeline.
Yeah, I mean, I used to always say like the real coup took place in I mean the initial. There's like 4 aspects of this coup. There's like 5 separate coups. The first coup was what they did with the Russiagate, Spygate stuff, getting that kicked off, and then when that didn't work, then it went to the impeachment thing. I think that was a soft coup, maybe even a hard coup. Didn't work, and then COVID, the stealing the election, like all that stuff. Those are like 4 different coups just in the first term. I mean, you could tie it all together. Maybe it's all just one big coup. I don't know.
Well, a successful coup is when you oust the leader. So I think attempted coups, and then the November 3rd is the successful coup, or at least they thought it was
the coup de grace.
The coup de grace. There you go.
Yeah,
and then we had the cover up afterwards.
Oh, for sure. And that's a lot of, and it was cover up, delegitimization, full scale color revolution. Like there's so many different things you can call that too. Yeah. I'm just waiting. Like the strike force is going on. We're seeing all these interagency cooperation groups coming out of the White House, which I think is interesting. I think it's just the strike force, you know, the public facing strike force storytellers. I think that's notable, but I want to see actual details. We've gotten 2 indictments so far, and they're bullshit. They're lying to Congress. Yeah. So I want to see something tangible.
Yeah, unless they get something out of them, which I've seen, you know, pay attention to that as well.
For sure.
And if that's the point, we've been saying that forever as well. But are you noticing a timeline pattern on the Biden era disclosures that are coming out now, or what they're targeting in terms of if it's early or late?
I mean, it seems multi-pronged. Like the autopen thing is delegitimizing Biden himself. Like, and this is something I used to write about in the Devolution series, one of my articles, where what Trump did and what he's been doing in the Devo term was a reverse color revolution, like delegitimizing Biden, which is the opposite of what they did to him. And that's what the autopen story I think is doing. It's the delegitimization effort and like kind of exposing a lot of that stuff, even though just ripped the Band-Aid off already, right? But regardless, they're doing that the way they're doing it, and it is what it is. The other aspect of this is the political persecution, the Jack Smith kind of exposing the dirty tricks, and the key is going to be the Rico Grande part, tying the first term to the Devo term, and how they're all the same people, like people within the Biden administration who partook in the first term stuff and the connections, the overlaps. That's where it's going to get real interesting, because when you can start piecing that stuff together, that's you're fucked.
Yeah, that's the cui bono, that's the who benefits, and it just helps obviously tell that legal story, but it also helps to translate that legal story of like, yeah, guys, this wasn't just political ideology of people that just were ideologically opposed to Trump or thought he was going to be bad for the country, right? Because that's almost been their ultimate backstop defense that you've seen the media tiptoe out there with. The infamous, I don't know if it was the Atlantic or whatever, but the infamous, we didn't steal the election, we fortified it or something.
Yeah, that was Time,
and there's been
Time magazine.
Yeah, there's been a few examples of that we've seen over the last few years. It almost shows you that their break glass in case of emergency is kind of the good German defense. Like, I was just doing my job, or I really believed that Donald Trump was colluding with Russia. You see, I bought into the Russiagate narrative, so I was trying to stop a dictator. I was trying to do my duty as a patriot. I think that's some of the last line of defense a lot of these people have. But to your point about the Biden term, the ones who took the gigs in the Biden term, the good German defense doesn't even work for them.
No, you can't get away with that.
Because they stood to gain, right? And there's a reason, and a lot of people should pay attention to this. There's a reason that courts pay special attention to whether or not you gain from the actions that you take in the future. And
motive.
If there's a motive that you codify in the future that retroactively explains why you did the things that you did to Donald Trump and the administration, then
like you're saying your attempts to delegitimize and
something,
like discredit Trump
to
administration,
then replace that thing
so that you can try to take over,
right,
and do the same thing,
right?
Okay, interesting.
Like if you do that, and you can draw a connection between those two things, your future actions and your past actions, that's where you can get really fucked. So I think the deep state, proper fun.
Yeah. Especially as that stuff starts getting uncovered and put through the legal system. That's some interesting stuff. Anyway, man,
in the State Department in the Biden administration, I don't know, fam.
Yeah, they're in trouble. Plus, like the 51 intelligence agencies. I don't even think we've gotten to that really corner of the conspiracy, the Biden cover up, corruption stuff. We had one story from Just the News. I think it was like 2 weeks ago, where they're like, "Oh, just to remind everybody, the FBI knew that the Bidens were corrupt, but they kind of ignored that." Remember that?
Right.
Like nobody freaking did anything. It's so stupid. But I love those little reminders that come out, because it's like, just keeping your head on a swivel. Here's all the things that we're going to be going through again later. Just make sure you study and prepare for class when it comes.
It's the I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the greatest movies in American cinema.
Is it really? Okay, so I watched Scream when you and Chris did Story Hour. And that movie now is like showing up on my Amazon to like watch, but I've never seen it. And I don't know if you're being serious or not, if it's actually good.
I used to like it as a kid, but no, I think it's horrible. It's I think it's like a shitty version of Scream. It's played too straight from what I remember. It's like takes itself seriously.
Yeah,
the good thing about Scream is that it's kind of in on the joke a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's funny because like I did watch what were those movies? Not a Scary Movie or a Scary Movie?
Yeah,
where they make fun of scary movies. Yet Scream itself was making fun of scary movies. And so they're making fun of Scream, making fun of other scary movies.
What's interesting, deep cut lore there, the original script for Scream was titled Scary Movie. That was the original working title. And then the Scary Movie franchise used the working title for the original Scream. But it is true, if you watch Scream and then you watch Scary Movie is really bad. But if you watch like a very self-serious horror movie, Scary Movie works. But to your point, it's like You guys were already spoofing a movie that was self-aware of what it was doing. It's not as funny.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Really, the only other thing that I had on the list tonight to discuss was the Fed rate cut. Powell cut the rate.
Oh, yeah.
And you said before the show, as always, Steve Moran is like, I'm not going to vote for this because you guys aren't cutting it enough.
Yeah, so he cut by a quarter point, and that's like everybody expected that. The market had priced it in from what we're told. But yeah, Moran has voted against both cuts in the last couple of months because they should have been double or triple what they are. So, you know, I think all this is posturing, and I do think it's probably on a timeline that they want, but it allows financial conditions to start to ease a little bit while still kind of boiling the frog a bit, I think, on the Federal Reserve. It still gives Trump mandate, and not even with normal Americans don't really pay attention to this stuff that much, but it does. Financial markets do. And financial, these big investment firms that aren't necessarily deep state, they pay attention to this shit. And they're all kind of banging the drum for Trump to, I think he's going to wait until May for Powell. I don't think he's going to oust him before. I think it's our boy Jerome.
You don't think they're going to name it? They got the 5 finalists, don't they?
I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah. There was, this was like a month ago. They said they came out with their like 5 finalists for the position, but they haven't chosen who yet.
I'm saying I don't think they're going to replace him prematurely.
I don't think, but I do think they're going to name the guy.
Yeah,
probably sooner rather than later. Maybe not. Maybe they'll just wait to the end.
Just make it Scotty.
I agree.
Or
He's so good at what he does.
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, I think what it does is it furthers the mandate within the markets, within the market makers, for Trump to replace him with somebody that pushes the pedal down on the accelerator. So I think that's kind of part of why they're doing this slow rolling. I think patriots are making them cut a little bit because we've got like emergency stagflationary scenarios going on in the U.S. as everybody notices. Things are expensive and the job situation sucks. So that's the worst possible situation to be in, despite Trump saying everything is good. It's definitely not. But yeah, I think that this means come May or June, whenever they actually start at the post, it's going to be like rapid fire, bazooka cuts.
I agree. And I'm looking forward to that too. I think it's, it'll be interesting to see what really happens in the market. You talk about switch theory with some of this stuff with the markets, like what could potentially happen if they've been kind of stalling and preparing the economy for a lower rate environment, but it's not there yet. And then all of a sudden you like unleash it.
Right.
It could be gangbusters.
Yeah. Cause you're almost like coiling the spring right now. It's like, we're almost, and they don't want to let that loose prematurely, which like we said earlier about energy.
Yeah. I hear that like letting things loose prematurely is not a good thing. People don't like that very often. So it's stalling is sometimes.
It's kind of funny you said that because I got a couple chats to load, and one from Petty429 says coup bukaki when we were talking about how many coups there's been, which is very vulgar and we disavow it. But
do we disavow that though? That's a great pun.
Yeah, it's a good pun. I like it. You know who's great at puns?
Keith Higgins.
Jordan Sather.
Oh yeah, he is like fantastic.
A+. He doesn't miss basically. So yeah, it's impressive. There was a couple he had the last few months. I was like, Jesus, that was good. And then he'll hit you with one every few days.
Yeah, out of nowhere too, and they're so funny. He's had some of our best private group chat puns for sure. Yeah. But man, what do you say we you got any boosts for us?
I do have some boosts, and yeah, sorry about the we didn't see chat really tonight on our setup, but we did get your rants that came through. I think all of them. So I
don't have them on my end, so you're gonna have to. You're gonna have to do the whole thing tonight, man.
Oh, great. Wednesday. Let me look at the boosts here. 23rd. I don't know. Did we get all these ones from the last episode? We got most of them. In case we didn't get this one, Murdrum sent one over $117. Just watched the 400th episode. Want you all to know how much I've enjoyed DPH and all the shows on Badlands. I've been with you since pretty much the beginning. You guys make me laugh even when things in the world seem dark.
Oh, appreciate you, man.
Thank you very much, Murderum. Seuss Cam 15 says, I have a theory that these first few indictments are to test the judicial system and the judges. Then after some shuffling and removal of corrupt judges, the important indictments will come through for the main villains.
I like that.
I like that. Yeah. We've certainly seen a lot of corrupt judges in the first half of the year. Sends another one over. Found out that our family event is scheduled at the same hotel as Gart on the same weekend in Cocoa Beach. Hope to run into you guys in the hallway or at the bar. Hopefully I'll be able to fully attend in the future. Okay, just don't be too grifty about that.
No loitering.
Because there are people who were doing that at some events, and unfortunately, we
I read an email at the beginning of the show. People who came to the event. I mean, that was different. Those are content creators.
Yeah,
as we were saying. Anyway,
Lionheart sent $100 over. Hi guys, I'm finding the third term for Trump narrative hysterical, particularly when some smart people claim the founders didn't want more than 2 terms. Problem is, 22nd Amendment was 1951. No founders were still alive at that point.
It's very true. And they tried to give George Washington a 3rd term, but he turned it down.
Yeah. Maybe Trump will do that. Maybe they will present him with the 3rd term on a platter and he'll say, I refrain.
No, it'll be more like, sir, you've had your 2 terms, and he'll be like, I'll refrain from just 2. I'll do a 3rd.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
That's the timeline I want. I want Trump to have as many terms as there are Scream films.
How many are there?
6 so far. And the 7th comes out this year. Or next year.
Is it all the same characters too?
It's a lot of the same characters. Recent ones, I guess they've brought some new people in, but now they're bringing Nev Campbell back for the newest one. Oh my god, they killed Dewey though.
Don't ruin that for me. I've only seen the first one.
They might bring him back. People come back in Scream movies.
It's completely ruined the whole point.
There's actually some good sequels. There's some good sequels in the Scream franchise, and then there's some bad ones. But Joe Biden's football. I love Malay's panache, a certain macho and fiery passion for arms and liberty with a humillagracion toward Trump and MAGA, often quoted saying, "Se amable siempre." I've worn my RWFF buttons out watching his speeches, yet to clip the source. Joe Biden's football, to be in his mind.
What?
1027JS, $20 later.
Thank you, Joe.
Say the thing.
Fellow North Dakotan.
Somebody
in our Gart 10 chat was like, does anybody know if Joe was in here because it was 1027? It was like, Joe, I didn't even think of that. It was October 27th, Joe Day. Fellow North Dakotan Day.
Nice.
Anyway.
Why does a chicken coop have only 2 doors?
Where's this coming from first?
The chat. I refresh the chat and get one thing out of it each time. Do you know?
Is it a joke? Is it a pun? Is it a...
It's a joke. Why does a chicken coop have only 2 doors?
Can we sit and talk this? Do you know the answer?
Yeah, I can see it right now.
Okay, can you talk me through it?
I'd like to think it was so obvious I would have got it.
But you wouldn't have?
Is it pronounced coupe if it's a car?
Chicken coop, yeah.
Okay, why does a chicken coop only have 2 doors?
Something to do with cars now. Just tell me the punchline.
Because if there were 4, it would be a chicken sedan.
I should have got that. But I wouldn't have. I never would have got that. Even with the hint you kind of gave.
I had 1 coupe.
That's a good...
in my college days. I didn't even have it. I just took my girlfriend's whenever I pleased. It was a Chevy. What the hell was it?
So it wasn't your...
One of those silver things you saw driving around in 2006. Just everywhere. They were
I feel
trash.
like everything I saw driving around was a silver Chevy back in 2006.
Yeah, they were fake hot rods. They were designed to vaguely look like
Malibu?
Corvettes. No, it wasn't a Malibu.
But it wasn't your car.
Shitty.
But you said it was your car.
Yeah, pretty much.
You co-founded the car.
I co-founded the car, right? Damn it, what was it? It was a Cavalier.
Yeah, I remember those. I had a couple.
I literally typed in 2-door shitty silver Chevy, and it was Cavalier. Chevy Cavalier.
That's so good.
I had a Well, I didn't have, but I kind of had this. It doesn't quite look like a Corvette, but
You share your screen so we can all enjoy the.
yeah. Let me.
My first car was Oldsmobile.
Oldsmobile.
Talk about shitty cars, but I mean, I don't want to say shitty in case my mom's watching because it's the best they could afford, and I love them dearly for it. The first day I drove it, I broke the axle. My dad, I thought I was going to be murdered. My dad would never do that. He's
The
not that
first day
person.
you drove it?
The first day I drove it, and in North Dakota at the time, you can get it when you're 14 and a half. So you get your permit the day you turn 14, and you can get your license at 6 months later. And so I did that, passed my test. That day I was driving to the school. Yep, that's the one. Hot rod.
It was to me, John. It was to me.
Anyway, I was driving to the school because we had to turn in our uniforms for basketball, but I was so excited. Like 8th grade basketball, right? Or freshman basketball. I was so excited I forgot the uniforms, like the whole reason I was going there. So I turned around, drove home, and it was icy out. And as I was turning, I drove right into the curb and just totally shattered my axle. And I was like pulling into my driveway at home like 10 minutes later. And my dad's like standing there. He's like, why is your wheel like doing that little thing? It's like, I don't know. What just happened?
Yep. I did that. I had a 1989 Accord was the first car I bought. I bought it cash from a Hispanic. An Accord, a Honda Accord.
What year was it?
89.
And you bought it in like 2005 or something?
2000. Yeah, 2005, I think. A 1989 Accord. It was like brown and had flip-up headlights.
Did it
So I
start
used to
brown
just
or
do
is
that
it
all the time.
like that was the original paint color or it just faded?
I don't know. Who knows what those Hispanics do with those things.
Yeah.
But I bought it from a guy in a Home Depot parking lot with cash. And
Nice.
hey, it was a
Pesos?
good car until I
Yeah.
broke the axle trying to avoid hitting a dog at midnight. And so at least I was altruistically, but I did not succeed in either. So
Yeah.
I totaled
You
the
hit the
car
dog?
and the dog. Yeah, it sucked.
Man, you killed
Literally
my dog?
ran into the street like in the middle of the night.
And you could
Right in front of me.
okay.
It sucked.
Did the dog damage your axle or you?
No, I swerved and slammed into the curb, but I clipped the dog. So it
Did
was
you
like
clip
the
the
worst
dog
of all.
into the curb?
No, I just clipped it, but I was going like 40. It was like a main street, and yeah, it actually sucked because like it just damaged him to the point where then I guess he died later. But yeah,
Didn't even
it
get
was
put
brutal.
down. He just died of his injuries.
I think they probably put him down. That
Man.
way. But yeah.
I didn't know.
But it was very awkward because I was kind of like, I'm a huge dog person, but also you kind of totaled my car because your dog was off the leash running around the streets at midnight. And I didn't go after him, obviously, but I was just like, what the fuck?
Well, I mean, it was the '89 piece of shit that you bought in the parking, like
$500, man.
Basically, told. Please,
I think it was like
pay for my car.
I think it was like $1,500.
Also, does
and my dad split it with me?
Does PETA know about you murdering a dog?
I don't know. But then my brother, one of my brothers, gave me I showed up at my house like a few months later, and there was a car in the driveway, and it just had a note in it that it was for me. And my brother had given me one, and it was a 1993 Geo Prism with 250,000 miles on it. But I was like, all right, I mean, it's free.
Is it free? Like at that point, like you're gonna have to put so much money into a car like that.
Yeah, it worked until the exhaust fell off while I was on a major road while I was driving it.
How long did you have it for?
About a couple years. And then
I mean, that's pretty good.
That one was my fault.
Some good mileage out of that thing, but
But the 2004 Civic, that lasted a long time.
My after the Oldsmobile, I believe after the Oldsmobile, I had I went back and forth between my dad's it was an Alero, like a 2005 Alero or something, and like a 2008 Chevy Blazer that he used to have. The Blazer I took to college up at University of North Dakota. That's the one that got stolen from my apartment parking lot and ended up in the Indian reservation in Minnesota up at Bemidji. they had a receipt in there from like McDonald's, time stamped, and then they had like a do not miss your baby's first checkup appointment with the baby's name in the hospital, like on the reservation, and the police did nothing about it. So that was what happened to my second car. But then the Alero, my dad was, I basically drove that thing in without getting an oil change too long.
What's an Alero? How do you even spell that?
Alero. I'll show you a picture.
Alero.
It's an Oldsmobile Alero.
They all looked the same.
They really did.
This looks like a. Geez, what was mine? I already forgot it. That Chevy.
Prism.
No, what was that Chevy? The heck, Cavalier. Looks kind of like a Cavalier.
Yeah, they kind of did look all the same. But I mean, cars now look all the same too, for the most part.
That's true. Yeah, the Chevy Blazer now is like a little sedan. I mean, a compact SUV. Weird.
Yeah, this right here was the Alero.
Nice.
Yeah, actually, mine was. I mean, it wasn't 2000.
We could have drag raced if we had known each other at the time. We could have drag raced a Cavalier versus Alero, or a
going like what, 85 miles an hour.
37 before the rattle starts.
Yeah. Oh, so funny. The car used to zoom around a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Is that a 2-door?
The one I had was a 4. I believe. No, I had a 4-door. It can be a 2-door though. Yeah. It was a sedan, not a coupe.
Brings us back.
Okay, do you have the rants?
I do. We've got Susie Q. So happy and proud of Shipwreck. Love her anyway, but this is so good. Keith O'Higgins. If we stop paying taxes, does that mean the government can't use those Jewish space lasers anymore? I think so. Grease Monkey testing the rant.
I feel like if we don't use the Jewish space lasers, we'd be anti-Semitic, wouldn't we?
Right.
Anti-Semitic.
Julie JN. Thanks, gentlemen. Elizabeth. Chat dead again. ZBM. Benjamin Franklin was a known man whore and was quite proud of it. Why did Dems complain that Trump is a gross womanizer when one of the founders they absolutely love banged like every woman he could? They don't like the founders. Keith O'Higgins, be on the lookout for the Scott Bessent backdoor Taiwanese tallywhacker tariffs.
I wonder what that would do to the economy.
They're going to come home and just start fighting again. That's what they'll do. Micro Toolmaker sent $55 over. Where we go on, we go all. Thank you, Micro.
See you in Gart.
Keith O'Higgins. Wouldn't DeSantis play an elevated heel?
I like that.
It. Q Awakening. If a dollar was a BTC, the bicameral golden age. That'd be nice. Well,
it would be nice. It would be a sat. A sat would be a dollar.
Sat dollar parity, yeah. Another 179. Europe is being repopulated with welcomed-in invaders, and it isn't limited to Europe. If no plan to save the West, Europe, U.S., Canada, and Australia from this in place, what will happen? Rebellion, probably, the thing that they don't want.
That's a good question, though.
Yeah. Keith O'Higgins, Badlands rumble rants are being funneled into a secret alpaca sex ring. More Cushing for the pushing. Between Arctic frost and crossfire hurricane, instead of a special prosecutor, should we name a special meteorologist?
Interesting.
So bad of a joke that it came back around to being good.
His jokes are, that's like, every time you read one of Keith O'Higgins, that's why they're so good. Like, they're so bad, but then, like, they age almost instantly, and they're so good.
Right. Trump NATO, $100. Can we mix in the OG intro to DPH a few times a month, or at least put it in the outro? Love all the shows, and we'll be here for always. MAGA forever. Thank you, Trump NATO.
Thank you, Trump NATO.
Much appreciated. G Fontes, Chevy Lumina.
There you go.
I don't know what a Lumina is.
Look at that, man.
Oh, it looks like a Cavalier. The Cavalier must have been
the same.
Yeah, they all looked the same at that time. They probably were all the same car, just with different branding.
Oh, for sure.
Keith O'Higgins, was the Accord a wetback hatchback? No.
Wetback hatchback.
Oh, here we go. This thing. Let me tell you. Now that Mrs. Bright's in bed, the kind of market for this thing. Let me tell you. Driving around
to hear the story.
The mean streets of the South Shore. You just, you get some lady eyeing you, some girl from school. She's kind of checking you out a little bit. All you got to do, give those lights a little flip. Flip them up, flip them down. Sometimes they wouldn't go back down if you did it too fast.
Could you do one at a time and wink at them?
No, I don't think so. It was
That'd have been way cooler.
Yeah. Mine had a moonroof too. This one's shit. But it was that color.
A moonroof?
Yeah.
Or a sunroof? Did it only open at night?
What's the difference?
I don't know. I've never heard it called a moonroof. That's the difference.
I think that's what they're called.
I think they're sunroofs. I'm almost positive. I mean, I'm sure you could call it both, whatever, but it's kind of gay.
Sunroof. It was a sunroof or whatever it was. And yeah, that thing was pretty cool. Until water got trapped in the reservoir.
Oh, no.
And then it would soak you if you stopped at a red light. But besides that, it was great. G. Fontes, here's the $1,000 rant for $1.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind.
Keith comes in. I bought a Volkswagen from an anti-Semitic German. He always kept the ashtray full. Okay, man. Keith, it's getting a little late. You gotta go to bed, buddy.
Yeah, I think
cut that out, man. We disavow.
Do we though? I don't. It's hard to disavow Keith O'Higgins sometimes, man.
That's true.
It's too good.
That's it. Sorry we couldn't see the chat tonight, guys. Hopefully the Rumble gets its shit together.
Yeah, I'm gonna send a strongly worded email.
Checking out the thoughts, and their thing isn't working either.
The fresh and fit.
But yeah, they unseated us as usual.
Yeah, it's love it when that happens, but whatever. Cool, man. Well, I don't have an outro video lined up.
Jeez,
I didn't think of that. Oh, let's just play Shipwreck's clip again because it was so based. Okay. All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Make sure you tune back in tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. I'll be on the Daily Herald. Then I think tonight, is Brad going live tonight?
I don't see him scheduled.
Okay, well then he's probably not. So he might be doing the exclusive Rumble live stream thing that we got to do. We need another 2.5 hours. So
right. And speaking of that, exclusive live stream tomorrow afternoon for anybody who's a GART ticket holder. Grab your tickets, badlandsmedia.tv/events. And we will see you next week there as well.
Can't wait, man. Get your tickets. If you can't make it in person, virtual is about as close as it can get to the real experience. And plus, we've lowered the price just a little bit, trying to make it more accessible to everybody. So get your tickets, guys. And with that, we'll take it out listening to an elected official telling you not to pay your taxes. Have a good one, everybody.
The American people have forgotten their power. So you're talking about the working poor. I'm talking, and I call them the forgotten American man and woman, but that's the same group. That is the largest group of Americans. And I think, in my opinion, that is the most powerful group of Americans. I think that is the group of Americans that have no idea that they are so powerful. They could rein in their government like that. Not only could they rein it in, they could overthrow it. And
how could they do that though? Just out of curiosity, like what does that look like?
I look, so you that's about 100 million Americans, right?
Yeah.
100 million Americans putting $10 into something that's $1 billion.
Like a true grassroots.
Yes.
Okay.
And then also, let's just say, forget donations. 100 million Americans. I'll jump way out there. We're going to make all kinds of headlines. Let's say 100 million Americans that say, fuck you to the government and refuse to pay their taxes.
I was going to ask you about.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's on my list.
This is how you do it.
You file exempt.
You want to know why?
Why?
Because the federal government has fucked you over. It rapes you every single day.